Wednesday, September 27, 2023. Market opened 40 minutes already. I forgot to switch to the chart when I was talking, so I got to redo this recording. So take two. Anyhow, as I was saying, now is that the XLE, which is the S&P Energy Sector Index Fund, has a signal that on the Donchain Channel, it broke back above the midline, and it coming off a trend retracement and broke back. So this is actually a potential setup for a trade right now. However, if we look at the usual, what I call the level 1 charts, which is really moving average, candle bars, and MACD, right? We have a low of the peak on the MACD, so that contributed to retracement. Now it's going back above, right? Back above the 21 days moving average. So that signified on the moving average that you could have a short medium term trade right now in formation, and then we will go back to the Donchain Channel charts and the ATR. ATR is on the low side, which is good and contribute to the setup of this trade. So what I was saying is that on the 5-minute chart, there was a clear breakout. And I didn't take a trade as I was looking for fundamentals. I was looking for a reason why there's a gap and continue to run. I couldn't find any fundamentals. So, but it's clear it's running. So if we trace back to this level, let's draw this breakout level, right? And we will see how it trade, and we will see price action, and find contribution to reason to enter the trade, basically to find a way. Which color should I use? Nice green. Okay, I'm going to use green. Yeah. So that will be, this is a support line. If we trace back down the support line, penetrate or otherwise, where I would see bias comes back in, long tail, basically false hammer. So then now it's running. Maybe we have a running. 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock or so. So the 10 to 12 period is where the late morning sections, and we'll possibly see a retracement of the 5-minute charts on this, and then we'll see if we get any technical confirmation that we can goes in and open the trade. I would see buying, I would see selling pressure as we push it down, and then I want to see buyer comes back in, holding that back up, and that will potentially continuation of this 5-minute trend in that sense. It looks like it might be topping out right now. It's definitely heavy. And if I don't see buy, then it will collapse back down, right? So right now, I'm waiting for the rounding, waiting for it to come in. I want to see selling pressure first, right now. It's following that, and then is it going to bounce off here? Or is it going? What is it going to do around here? So that will take some time for formation, and that might be the play of the today. So since I introduced yesterday the level 2 technical indicator, I used the Donchain Channel ATR. That will give us a lot more trade in actuality than just using the moving average, the MACD, right, on the daily, and the false hammer. Right now, I see a false hammer already right here, so that is definitely buy. Should be buys around this level. If the action push it back down to this level, if not, if I see buyers on this level and a false hammer, right, then we can buy around here. If we see a false hammer in that sense, so we'll have to wait and see if that will happen. So that we will continue to search other trades. So let's go look at Apple. Wow, Apple is taking a crap. Look at that. Look at that. Apple is definitely taking a crap. Google just inside. Meta have nothing inside day. Tesla. Yeah, it's tiny little nothing. It's not doing anything. Amazon is down 1%, so it's taking a dump again, huh? Yeah. These are inside like 0.2%, 0.5% down, and nothing yet. These guys just still. Overall picture on the semi is actually pretty gloomy. If you look at this, it's not really picking itself up. While the broader market is just flat. QQQ spider 0.1% up. The bigger one is Russell 2000, so around 1%, but nothing really substantial at this point. So let's continue down there. Let's look at Oracle nothing, of course. They're all 0.5%. Yeah, they're not moving. Basically, they're chopping around now. QCOM, INTC. Okay, Intel is up 1.76% right now. So put it into Donchian Channel, Intel. Let's see what does that look like. The 5 minute. 5 minutes running. 5 minutes run. If we trade the intraday 5 minute, yeah, definitely running Intel. It's up 2%. Well, but let's start with the daily. The daily. Here we go. So on the daily, it's very clear. Is still in the bear territory below the middle line of the Donchain Channel. Is in the bear territory of this guy. But within that, of course, a shorter time frame. So let's start compressing to 4 hours. Definitely still down. And then we'll compress to the 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour is definitely picking up now. 1 hour, you have this formation. So the shorter time frame, the intraday, is just signify its own changes. And of course, the shorter time frame will change first, right? From second to minutes to hours, and then finally a few days for it to go back into daily bull territory, upper half of the Donchian Channel. Right now, the 30 minutes is definitely breaking up. 30 minutes is signal a trade in that sense. But it could be very short-lived on this. So the 30 minutes, and then you compress to the 15 minutes already ran. The 15 minutes already ran. Definitely the 5 minute definitely have this nice formation. You trade the sort of time frame, right? But you have a lot of these chop. The problem is when you trade a shorter time frame, you have a lot of false signal. You have a lot of this in out, right? And then into bull, into bear, right? And you got a lot of these chop. So this is where you need to ATR to help you to avoid getting chopped up on these type of indicators, trading on these type of indicators. That you wait for one of these. You have to wait. When it picked up, even when it picked up like this, like look at this. This is getting chopped too. So the shorter time frame always will have this problem. Sometimes you get this, but most of the time you're getting chopped up a lot like these. And you think, okay, relatives pick up, you're gonna sell here, and then it just reverse again. So the 5 minutes is much harder to sustain the trade, versus a 10 minute you still have chopper. You can see that. Yes, you have these formations. Yeah, you can use the Donchian Channel on a short time frame to stay with a trade or a trend, but on a shorter time frame, it's hard to utilize it as a pure signal. You want to go to a longer time frame. You want to go where you avoid these type of situations. Look at this: in the bowl, out of the bowl. Right. So it could be this way too, in the bowl. So this is why the longer time frame, the more clean your signals are. In that sense, right? Look at this. Broke down. Okay. Doji start stable trade, right? For the 1 hour. This is a much better way to play. As you expand. So minimum right away is telling you what? It's telling you that you should stay with at least the 1 hour. 1 hour have a much more cleaner trend. You still have this chop. And then as you pull out to the 2 hours, and then the 4 hours. I'm trying to see how often you get more clean trade, or how much more. Yeah. So what you want is the shorter time frame start aligning, and then the longer time frame eventually will pick up along the direction, the trend of the shorter time frame in that sense. Right? So the daily will be the last to actually pick it up. Right? So right now you have to compress to at least the hourly trade or the 30 minutes trade for the Donchain Channel setup taking place. Right? This is taking place already. But because it's coming off this, do you want to go counter trend? It is much better is you wait for it to cross back down and take the short. Doing this, it could be a very temporary retracement before it goes down. Right? In that sense, if you really look at that. Right? Our 1 hour, 4 hours. 4 hours is still way below. So in the 4 hours, it's already still in the bear territory on the Donchain Channel. So 2 hours picking up a little, touching the midline. And that. So only the 2 hours time frame below. So the 1 hour so is giving you that signal on that. And if you believe the broader market is still heavy, which it is, I think the broader market is still pretty heavy. Right. Since the 5 minute already ran, right, we can deal with the 5 minutes still. 5 minutes holding up nicely on the bowl. So you have conflicting signals. Right? Not all the time frame align. And in that sense, you can play either way. You can play the shorter time frame ball, and then when it turns back down, and you can pick the longer time frame bear in that sense. Since then took the trade and that waiting for retracement, it could be that too. And then it's actually better for the wait for the retracement, right, where it broke up. And then if I'm wrong, the stop loss is much tighter, closer, and you take much less stop loss, then starts buying it, and your stop loss has this whole gap area. So the short time frame bull and the longer time frame bear, it happens all the time. You just trade different time frame. That's all. In that sense. Right? So that's Intel. Going back to XLE. Now XLE daily already broke up, so you compress to different time frames. All the different time frames definitely will give you a very nice setup in that. Okay, the 4 hour is breaking into back into the bull territory after all these time in the bear territory. So this is the better trade. This is actually a much better trade to Intel, where you have the largest time frame is bear, the shorter time frame just decides to turn around and go into a bull area in that sense. let's look at this. Let's look at that. 2 hours, 1 hour. Okay. So, oh, because I should have used green. I was like, why is that this color? Let's use orange. Okay, now better. So I know I marked this on a shorter time frame on the 5 minute. Oh, it did a retrace. Very short retrace. Not substantial enough. And then it does a break. So the momentum is still there on the 5 minutes. Buyers are still there on the 5 minutes. But does not give me a false hammer, does not give me a clean signal yet. So the 50 minutes is still running in that sense. Anything below 5 minutes become very, very, very choppy to me. So I don't trade using those signal bar to 3 minutes. You have this false hammer, and then that was the entry signal. But right now I don't see any of this. The shorter time frame has to do the formation, and you will translate to the longer time frame. That's how it will work. 5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes has some good signals, but didn't took this one. I couldn't find any fundamentals. News on it now. It ran. It do a very short retracement, but that's not substantiated enough to see that sellers and buyers really pushing the market around, pushing the instrument around to trigger entry on that sense. But if we go back to the hourly, hourly is really up there, and then we'll go to 1 day. The daily, finally, daily is really running on this guy in that sense. We have to wait. I will have to wait and see later on of the day if it give me a nice clean formation, a nice clean pattern that I want to trigger entry. And I will just post another video. There's no point of just sitting here talking and waiting for this to happen, because it might never happen throughout the day. It might happen later on. It might happen right now. It's just doing its thing, not going up or down. I want to see if it's come back down, or I want to see some action, some sellers really aggressive pushing it down, and then the buyer say, hey, I want to buy it all. Go ahead, you sell it all, I'll buy it all. So I want to see that. Right now we don't really have any of that indication, like a false hammer, a doji style. A false hammer followed by doji style, that was the entry. Yeah, Charlie on the 5 minutes bar. Yeah. For intraday trade, that could be hours to days or minutes. Could depends on the price action again. But there's no point. But that's about the. And then we were looking at Intel because it was up nicely on the 5 minutes. But if conflicting signals, only we stretch out to the 4 hours. All these actually in bad territories. So the shorter time frame bull signals is not less strong, because the bigger time frame actually still in bear, although it's picking up. Ideally is actually seeing the daily start picking up, and then eventually it will cross back into a bull territory. Now, if the longer time frame support and shorter time frame, that's perfect. That's great. You have a very strong signal. When you have the smaller time, the bigger time frame, the daily, the hourly, conflicting with your shorter time frame, the signals that set up the entry is not as strong in that sense. AMD is doing its thing too, doing its run, but they all been depressed. So yeah, the only potential, a good one, is the XLE right now. Let's XLE to the list, so I don't have to keep typing. And XLE, yeah, there we go. So let's put XLE all the way up higher in here. Okay, good. Right below the dollar index, so click, we'll get this. And the daily closed up. So now we compress down in a smaller time frame, and we can try to look for trace. And the trade was actually looking at the 5 minutes, see if the 5 minute will give us a trade later. If I want to see some sellers comes in like right now, oh nice, they're coming in. Now we can watch actually even on the 3 minutes. It's rounding back down and see if the 3 minutes really want to do something. I want to see it on this level. Is it perfect? Because this is the breakout level and this is the midline where it's going to intersect with the breakout level. I want to see some trading action here. I want to see seller push it down here and test if they're buyer on that. So I can watch the 3 minutes, and if that is going to happen, and then would that translate into the 5 minutes, into the 15 minutes, and how that's going to progress across a different time frame. And that's how you start looking at the intraday data and translate back into daily and trade the daily in that sense. It's because every bar tells a story. You just have to try to decipher the actions, decipher the players, the speculators, or is there more buyers or there's some more sellers. That's what you do when you want to trade actively. When you start just looking at the intraday actions to understand the overall pictures. Especially since I couldn't find any fundamental news behind why this happened. I know it's going to pop up later. Some analysts are going to come out and tell us why. Right now, we just don't have. I don't have a clue, and I'm not energy analyst. I don't follow the sector closely, so I don't know. I mean, ideally is I will want to pick up the phone. I call one of these institution analysts and say, "Hey, what's going on?" I talk to the guys that's following this market, specialists on this market, and ask them, "Hey, why is this happening?" That's the support you get when you're at a trading desk. You have all these tools, all these news, all these institutions, all these professionals you can talk to, and you can understand the picture better. But when you're kind of like doing it yourself, as a retail trader, you have to decipher it yourself in your own way. In that sense. But yeah, look at that. It's just chopping now. So yeah. So I'm gonna leave this at that. If there's anything that's formulated of interest, I will upload additional videos, and then we're gonna see. Especially if this actually trigger a trade, then it will trigger another video. And that. Okay, that's about it for this morning. And I would look forward to upload more videos. Maybe later on or tomorrow if there's no trade, if there's trade or that's actually a good setup, then I will upload another one. Thanks for watching. Talk to everyone soon.